Got it.
Okay, so we are just about to go into One Woman's Voice Live. It's Speakers Rich, and we're going to be talking today about well-being and mindset. And I'm just bringing Myrtha in. Here she comes before we go live. Hi. Hello, Myrtha. We are set up and we are ready to go. Are you okay? Okay, right, here we go then. Let's go live. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to Speakers Rich. It is our very first Speakers Rich program. Now then, let's get this up. I'm going to share the screen so that we do a proper introduction to where we are. Hang on a moment. And there we are. Hello, this is welcome to Speakers Rich. We're presenting well-being and mindset. And today we have got 6 experts. They are members of our group. They are members of One Woman's Voice. And here are the presenters. I have done the very best, ladies. I have done the very best with the information that I've got, and I am going to read a little bit out about you in a moment. So please don't be embarrassed, or I hope I've got it correct. Now, Speakers Rich is part of the Marketing Diamonds visibility program that I do. I've put it together, and this is the first time, so this is a pilot scheme. So I'm going to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me. This is a pilot scheme, and we put it together because I wanted to get that extra bit of visibility for our members, but also to provide more knowledge about the variety of business owners that I meet along the way. I am so thankful that you have joined me today, and we have got a good selection, a marvelous selection on wellbeing and mindset presenters. I know we had a waiting list for this program. I know that I didn't fit as many people in as was wanted. However, I felt with between 10 and 15 minutes for each one of us, 6 was a good number to start off with. I am going to be doing more. There's going to be more to come. We will be selecting different subjects as we go along, but this is what I wanted to start off with, sort of capping it at a smaller number that I felt was containable. Now, at the moment, I have got our 5 presenters with us, and I'm going to stop my share just this moment and show you who I mean. So, thank you so much, like I say, for joining me. And I am going to go to my words. Now, I put you all in a different order. I did send through the email. I took a random, well, I didn't actually take a random number at all. I made somebody else go and choose the numbers out of a hat for me. So, Myrtha, you are the first one up. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to, as you start speaking, I'm going to put you onto our main view purely for recording purposes, so that when it does go onto YouTube, people can see who's speaking. So bear with me, Myrtha, whilst I read out about you.
Okay.
Myrtha believes that we don't know what we don't know. I've heard you speak about this before, Myrtha, and therefore she has become that savvy, loving, sincere leader, passionately dedicated to educating, elevating and empowering herself and others. Myrtha's life lessons and blessings has positioned her as a personal growth and development strategist. Oh, I can't say it, strategist. She is an international bestseller author, an author coach, global speaker, and a workshop facilitator. Myrtha's experience, passion, and work circles around supporting women to reaffirm their position, rebuild their identity and confidence, and redeem their worth, making them undeniable. I've heard that word before as well. Myrtha is the visionary of creating Purposeful Resilience, C.P.R, CEO of Myrtha Dubois Coaching and Counselling, host of A Little C.P.R with Myrtha Dubois, weekly podcast, of which I've been a visitor.
Yes.
Written over 19 publications to date, and serves as an entrepreneur offering entrepreneurship programs. Wonderful. Right, over to you, Myrtha.
Awesome. Well, not quite sure what to really share, so I prepared a little something. And thank you so much, Jill, for having me here. I'm excited. Hello, beautiful ladies. You look beautiful. I love the smiles. And for those of you who are watching, welcome and congratulations, because you are in for a treat. Now, as I prepared for our time together today, I did a little bit of research and found that there are 7.8 billion people in the world. 49.6% of them are women. Now stay with me, because this number is going to become very relevant. Women, I found, are 20% times more likely to suffer with stress than men. Now, we already have the population. 20% of that is suffering. Can you see how the numbers are relevant? Now, I need you to understand one thing. You are not alone. And the signs and symptoms of stress circles around, a lot of times, affairs of the money, emotional well-being, physical state of mind. What this translates to is that we do not have the right steps in place to keep us moving forward towards our best or better lifestyle. Therefore, our success rate is affected overall. Everything that we do is affected by these numbers. If we are not careful, as many of us have found, myself included, we can get stuck and frozen in our situation longer than we ever wanted to be. Now, fact number 2 for you is that Americans spend over $700 million per year in self-help and self-development and self-improvement books. That's a lot of money, considering we are still experiencing personal development issues, such as the weight of stress, the overwhelm, being uncertain, living with doubt and fear and confusion. And those issues leads to other concerns, such as depression, anxiety, and so much more. Now, the myth is that we are in control, but we have to deal with these outside interferences every single day. That keeps us stressed, it keeps us frustrated, we become uncertain, we're afraid to make moves, we start doubting ourselves. Should we not? Go this way, go that way? We start to feel stuck, because now we're like, what do I do? Who do I turn to? What do I say? How do I function? And we go through this situation, we're facing these situations day in and day out. Fact number 3, we have 75% of Americans, are unhappy with their jobs. Now, psychologists today said jobs. They didn't say whether they were 9-to-5ers, whether they were business owners, whether they were entrepreneurs. They just said 75% of Americans are unhappy with what they're doing. Now, jobs are a task. It's a task that gets us money. The sad part is about 120,000 people die every year as a direct result from stress. So we got to get it together, ladies. We got to get it together, because it becomes too much. And instead of looking in the right directions, you know what we do? We start to bargain with ourselves. Here's a little test for you. During high levels of stress, have you ever said or heard somebody say, you know what, Holly, when I win that lotto? You know what, Kate, when I get a better job? Anna, you know what, maybe when the kids leave the house? And how about, you know what, Audria, when this one here graduates from high school, it's going to be all about me. Well, that kind of bargaining only adds to more stress and more pressure, and the overwhelm continues to build. We start to ask ourselves, well, who's really driving? Who's in the driver's seat? Because when we start to get overwhelmed, build up, frustration slides into the passenger seat and comes along for the ride. Because when what we think will make us happy, better spouse, the children, the job, outside interferences, then guess what? we get disappointed. And that cycle, that negative cycle continues. And here's the problem with all of this. The problem is most of us, we give too much of ourselves and we don't keep enough left for self. We go through in the shadow, living in the shadow of someone else, and we lose our identity. For example, ever heard somebody being introduced as Mrs. So-and-so? Well, don't they have a first name? Or so-and-so's mom? Okay, all right. How about somebody introducing you as the job title or department that you service? I mean, really? What about my skills? My personal skills? When do we recognize that? Not just for somebody else, but within ourselves. The solution is simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple. It's about preparation. It's about being equipped, because we will never, listen to these words I'm about to say, we will never be ready. Never be ready. But we will equip ourselves and be prepared. Les Brown, we've heard the stories, we've heard him say it. He prepared himself to be on the radio month after month after month until it was his chance. He jumped in. Michael Jordan, shot after shot after shot until it was his moment. He jumped in. He prepared. Oprah, he didn't say, well, get the mic in your hand, young lady, and go on. No, she studied, she did her research, and she practiced. Simone Biles didn't decide one day, I'm gonna go to the Olympics. I am going to be the baddest chick out there. No, she prepared and prepared and prepared and equipped herself to do so. You know, when you go in the plane and you're trying to jump out of a plane, you're never ready. You look down, you're like, oh, wait a minute, give me a minute. But all those minutes that you've taken, those moments that you've taken to prepare yourself for that moment, that's what counts. And let's be honest, neither of us were meant to take on so much and expect not to suffer the consequences. Remember, and I'm going to share the secret with you. You are not in control, but you are absolutely in charge of you and the circumstances that come your way. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of tips. Intentional breathing is my biggest tip ever in everything that I do. You know why? Because when you intentionally breathe, when you inhale and you learn to exhale properly, you relieve the stress, you relieve tension, you become aware, you're stepping back from your situation, you can see clearly now. You know that song, right? I can see clearly now. You know, and then so we have to have open conversations with our loved ones, with ourselves. We have enough of these conversations with ourselves throughout the day, but how open and honest are you? Remember, if you are not open and honest in your conversations with self and the people that are supporting you, you will not receive open and honest results, right? We have to become more active, you know, be in selective groups and be with selective individuals. We have to understand that what we are experiencing, if it doesn't feel right, look it up, research it, talk to the experts, get some information for you. Journal is another favorite of mine because it serves as a point of reference. When you feel that way again, like maybe a couple of days later, you go back and be like, wait a minute, what did I do there? Go back to your journal. And it's also a means for you to just let it all out. Because you know, when you keep everything in, it starts to manifest in physical form, doesn't it? We know that, but that's another story for another day. Find humor and laugh out loud as often as you possibly can. I mean, some hearty laugh, like, you know, something good. And for the caregivers, I'm selecting a couple of tips for you separately. You got to schedule time away from your patients. Schedule time away from them. And then you have to schedule moments throughout the day for alone time. Every 2 hours, take a 5-minute break. Go someplace by yourself. Think, sit in the closet, whatever. Sit on the toilet and just sit there. And just give yourself that moment. You got to learn to pray. You got to learn to meditate. Soak. It doesn't matter if it's a full body, a foot, a toe, a finger, soak something. But learn to just relax and just let it go. Those are my tips. resources that I have for you. As of last week, Friday, I learned that I have been selected to be on the board of NAMI, which is a National Alliance on Mental Illness. And that is huge because we are all suffering from something. And so NAMI is a good resource. Suicide prevention hotline, get the number, put it on your refrigerator. You know, we have all these little business and stuff on our refrigerator. Put something that helps you, like personally helps you. Because when you are good, everything around you is better. When you are good, everything around you is better. Imagine if you are better, what happens? And that is all I have. But I do want to add one thing. If there's nothing in your area, no group started, guess what? You know what you want? Start a group of yourself. Start it up. All right? That's all she wrote.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was marvelous. That was absolutely brilliant. I could listen to you for hours, you know that. You're just so inspiring. It is amazing. I know you've got a lot going on in the background, and please do pop links in wherever you go, but that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to add the call to action here or if we're going to do it a little bit later.
You can add the call to action here. Let's just get you back on speaker view and do that now.
See what happens when you go first?
Yes, we're just working our way through. But obviously pop it in below everything, but do a call to action.
Okay, awesome. Do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready,
All right. And so because we want to be prepared, because we want to get it right for ourselves and for our loved ones, I am offering a 30-minute personal strategy session with moi. Go to, and I'll put the link out there, but it's really creatingpurposefulresilience.as.me. And we will talk about all areas of your lives. And I believe in the 5 F's, which is the faith, the family, the fitness, the finances, and the fun. We got to have some self-care into that, right? And then we'll also talk about where you are now and what's next for you. So get on a call with me, 30 minutes with Myrtha Dubois.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, let's just go back to gallery so you can come away and we can all take a breather, take a breath. And okay, Holly, I've got you down as next. Are you ready? Okay, let me do so. I'm actually intrigued. Now, Holly and I have been communicating with each other for actually quite a while throughout One Woman's Voice, but I haven't ever met her face to face, and I feel I've missed out, quite honestly. Holly is a functional health coach for those with autoimmunes and master trainer for, and this is what got me, the World Growth Movement. I have not got a clue what the World Groove, isn't it?
Groove
Movement is. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Let me put you on speaker view so your focus of attention. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that introduction. And Myrtha, you're a hard one to follow. I feel like I was at church, though. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like, yes, preach, sister. So it was, she's just so infectious, isn't she? So yes, I am a functional health coach for those with autoimmunes, and I'll talk about Groove in just a little bit too, and how that helped me. So I live with Crohn's disease. I am no stranger to it. My dad had it when I was growing up, and I started to show symptoms in my teens, in undergrad, and then into grad school, but I just thought stressful college life, college student, and just kind of brushed it off. Like most people with autoimmunes, it took several years to get the proper diagnosis. In the meantime, I found a naturopath. I prayed for a healer, and I didn't want a doctor, and I found a naturopath, and God answers. I mean, Myrtha and I have talked about this. God answers. Not only did I find one, she lived across the street from me. So that totally changed my approach. I had to unlearn everything that I'd learned in the textbooks. I'd been a fitness a group fitness instructor and a personal trainer through college. That's how I paid for school, and then got my master's degree in athletic administration. So, I learned the textbooks, but it did not apply to my body. And so I had to relearn everything. And really, what it was about was getting to know and understand the signals of my own body, becoming really intimate with my own body in the process. So, fast forward, I wanted to be the poster child for natural healing, and kind of got a smack dab of, no, not so much. So I ended up in the hospital 6 years ago and almost died. And like, I had been so determined and I'd been so disciplined and all these things, and it was this like, what, God, what is this? And I learned a few things. I learned that medicine doesn't have to be awful. I learned that there are very caring people who go into that field, and that when we take charge of our health, as Myrtha said, we can become the bridge of allopathic and naturopathic. And we can become our own advocate and create our own best care. I had this really lovely, lovely doctor. Like, she was amazing. And I remember, here I am hooked up to all these machines and NG tube and heart monitor and all these things. And keep in mind, I'm the health person, I'm a fitness person. And here I am with everything hooked up to me. And she came in, and I'm approaching surgery. We'd finally come to this decision that surgery was the best option, which I was struggling with, because that is not what I wanted at all. And she goes, you know what? If you were my sister, I would want the best care for you. And surgery is the best option right now. And she also said this. She said 90% of healing is mindset and attitude. And you've got this amazing attitude. You're going to come out just fine. And I'm going to make sure that you come out just fine. I've handpicked your doctors. I've handpicked your surgeon. So I had this amazing support. And that has stuck with me. 90% starts here. It may not be the way we think it's going to be. And that's okay. What I do know is, if I hadn't been disciplined in how I eat and in managing stress and all those things, I don't think I would be right here where I am today. So my recovery was really, really beautiful and lovely. And I mean, I am thriving and I feel amazing and I don't have pain. So I think that there's something to what goes on here, and being open to a lot of forms of healing modalities. Now, you brought up the World Groove Movement, and so I'm a master trainer for that and have been for several years, actually about 12 years now. And I met Misty Tripoli, who is the creator of Body Groove, at a conference in Washington, D.C. when I lived in Virginia. I live in Nebraska now, but she had this really refreshing approach to how we move our bodies. And groove is a dance modality where we're not in rows and lines like you would normally be. It's not complicated choreography. It's truly about getting to move our bodies in authentic ways, which fully supported and informed a lot of what I share with people, and a lot of mindset. So no one cares what you look like, and if they do, it's their problem, especially when it comes to dancing. So many of us are so self-conscious about how we dance or move or sing, for that matter, and no one really cares. Your way is the right way, and when you do it your way, you can't get it wrong. Well, there's a lot of ways to go about something, isn't there? We all look different, and we should. So we want to embrace that. Practice, practice, practice. Like, we can't master something if we don't put it into practice. And Myrtha brought that up with the self-help. And what's really interesting is I thought about that this weekend too. Like, look at all these self-help books. Look at all this that's out there, and yet we're sicker and we're fatter, and we're in a health crisis. We really, truly are. If there's anything that I've come to understand in terms of health is that we overcomplicate it. And so I'm just going to wrap up right here. We have to balance our gut. There's no way around it. We have to balance the gut. We have to balance our nervous system. You know, we are overstressed, we're overstretched. And when we do those two things, we can really do a lot to impact our health. So my call to action, I have a healthy boundaries workshop coming up because I do believe that when we're clear on what it is that we want, then it's the practice of setting boundaries and communicating. Like we have to put a fortress around that outcome that we want. And we have to communicate our needs. And what I've found across the board is that that's the one skill women struggle with because they feel guilty about taking care of themselves. Yet, it doesn't make sense to me, does it? Does it make sense to anyone else here that we feel guilty about taking care of ourselves? If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of other people. And we know that, but we have to put it to practice. So I have that. And I do have a support group for those of you with autoimmunes. If you're going, yeah, I don't know what to do, or I've tried all these things, or even just the daily struggles, because it impacts everything in the back of our minds. You know, from our finances to our purpose to having the energy to get up. If you have questions around that or just want a support group, you can come to Health Warriors with Autoimmunes.
Wonderful.
So I'll drop some links in the comments and you can connect with me if you're interested.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Holly. Thank you. Wow. I loved the bit where you said, let me put this back on gallery. I loved the bit where you said that 90% of it is our mindsets. My mother had Crohn's and IBS, and she would get stopped by people in the street in the village, and she'd, you know, how are you, Peggy? And she'd always say, oh yes, I'm fine, I'm good. And we'd go away and I'd say to her, you've just had the most awful day. Why'd you say that? And she said, people don't want to hear. People want to hear that you're okay. She said, I can moan about what's going on when I get home, but I'm not going to give the impression to everyone else or even bring them down. She was a very positive woman. And really, she was, yes, we never knew what she was going to get up to next, really. But I love that bit about 90% of it is mindset, because it certainly is. Thank you so much. That was lovely. Thank you. Now, yes, Kate, we were only talking to each other last week, weren't we? So this is wonderful. In actual fact, it was you that started me off on this whole thing, where we started talking on, you came into Facebook Messenger and we started talking, and I suddenly thought, why don't we do this in one woman's voice? So let me read a little bit about you. Kate Kunkel is an licensed brain trainer and vegan neutralist. She coaches midlife and older clients to improve brain function that is compromised due to head trauma, diabetes, obesity, and early cognitive decline. We are not stuck with the brains we have, and Kate helps you make yours the best it can be. Let me put you on gallery, on speaker view, Kate. Welcome.
Thanks so much. It's so great to be back with you, Jill. I feel like I'm in a family of women who totally get this subject. Myrtha, you talked about mindset right from the get-go. I tell my clients all the time, we can't go ahead and make your brain better unless you decide you're going to make your brain better and you're willing to do the work. And Holly, a gut health, it is primary for brain health. You cannot have a healthy brain without a healthy gut. And autoimmune is actually, that was my start too. My mom was diagnosed with dementia 11 years ago. And it was at exactly the same time I had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I was in the throes of menopause. It was just the worst possible combination. So I had all this stress from what was happening with mom and my own health issues. And I was going through a divorce after 25 years. perfect storm of mess. So it was a time where I had to take control and understand where all this was coming from. And so the research I started doing, because my primary focus at the time was trying to help my mom, because this was terrifying. Her mom had died with dementia, and my father's mother died with dementia. So this was hugely frightening to me and my sister, because, you know, you hear that it's all genetic, and if your mother had it, for sure you're going to have it. And then I had RA, and I learned that autoimmune was connected to the likelihood of developing dementia. So it was quite a frightening time, but it was also an empowering time. And that's one of the things I like to share with people all the time. When stuff like this hits you all at once, the best thing to do is sit back, have a good cry, and then pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go learn. Don't just take what the doctors say, because the doctors said that nothing could be done for me except drugs. The doctors said that mom, you know, was just going to decline, and the best we could do was give her a comfortable life. Well, I wasn't content with any of that. So I started digging in and doing research. Now, I have to say it was a little bit too late to make a big difference in mom's life, because it took a long time for her to get a diagnosis. And I was a little bit in denial. My sister was in denial, and I'd been away for 25 years. I was living in California. So I hadn't seen the decline in mom like everybody else had. So there was a little bit of denial. So we couldn't really, quote, fix her. You can't really fix when it's that far advanced, but we could help it slow down a bit. And by learning how to do that for her, I learned how to eliminate my diagnosis. I don't have any pain. I have no swollen joints. I have nothing wrong with me. I have more energy now at 63 than I did at 33, because I fixed my gut. I fixed my it's so funny. Somebody put on a post on Facebook. I'm sure you've all seen this. You know, what's the worst thing about aging? And for me, it's people telling me I should slow down because I'm getting older. Like, what kind of stuff is that? I'm not gonna slow down. I'm just beginning, babe. So that whole thing, that whole process led me to doing this work as a dementia prevention specialist. It's funny, huh? How the things that seem to be ready to knock us down actually build us up. And that's what this did. I was a harpist. I was 25 years a harpist in Las Vegas, and I did sound therapy and healing. And when all of this came to be, I switched gears. You know, I still did the harp healing and the vibroacoustic therapy, but then I brought in all of this, the nutrition, the vegan nutrition, the gut health. And now I'm learning more about the vagus nerve. So all of those things together. Myrtha, you said about self-care. Women are twice as likely to develop dementia as men, 2 times. And by the time we're 85, we've got a 50-50, everybody has a 50-50 chance of developing dementia. So think how much more that makes for women. If the average is 50-50, that means after a woman's 85, she has more like a 60% chance of developing dementia. So we have to take control of that now. That's my whole goal in life, is to never let anyone else go down the path mom and my grandmother's traveled, because that was awful. The way my mom died, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Not that I have any, but if I did, I wouldn't want to wish it on them. At least I don't think I do. Anyway, back to prevention. My whole goal in life is to help people, especially women, because we are so much more likely to develop it, and we live longer. So if we do get it, chances are it's going to be a much longer, more painful path. So we have to nip this in the bud. So what I do for people is help with the gut health. That's number 2. Number 1 is mindset. And I think probably everybody in this room is thinking mindset is where we have to start, because we have to decide that this is in our control. I was just on a dementia support group on Facebook, and one lady was saying, "How dare you say it can be prevented? Blah, blah, blah." And I went in there and I said, "Well, if you believe that it can't be, then you're right. You're stuck with it. But if you believe that you can do something, then you can. And that's my first point. And we have to know where we're starting, because many of us have been exposed to toxins. We've had stress. We've had maybe traumatic brain injury that we don't even remember, because many people don't remember it. We have many factors that could set us up to develop dementia, but that doesn't mean we're going to get dementia. It means that it gives us a little bit more work to do to make sure that we don't travel down that path. So that's the first place I start with people. And that'll be my call to action, is to invite people to take the risk assessment. It's on my website. That is a way to start and understand where you are. And then you can set a goal. What is your goal? To travel until you're 90 and take cruises? Is your goal to play soccer with your grandkids? What is your goal? Because when you know where you are and you can set a goal, then we can set a path. And that's what I do with people. We set the path together. Okay, what's your biggest problem? I eat like crap, which is very common. So we fix that. Yes, fix that. We get people out off the couch. We get them out playing. We get them walking. The other thing is to keep learning. Oh my gosh. When people retire, their brains basically atrophy. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's just same with your body, your brain, as it is with your muscles, right, Holly? You have to keep moving. You have to keep dancing, singing, moving, learning. So we're going to move and learn and keep the brain exercised as much as our bodies. They have to both be working all the time. And we have to love other people. We have to have gratitude. We have to foster a sense of nurturing, not just for ourselves, but for the planet. I'm a vegan on purpose because of the animals, but whether you're vegan or whether you're looking after kids who are starving or people who are isolated in their homes due to COVID or something else, then our attitude of gratitude and generosity are hugely important. I teach that, I hold class on that, Reset Your Mindset, all about that, because those things together make our brain so strong and they help us sleep better. This is the craziest thing. People have said to me when I start coaching people and they get out there and they do things, and I always encourage people to volunteer. I don't care what you do, whether it's reading to the dogs in the kennel or whether it's picking up trash on the beach. Once you start to volunteer and give without any expectation of anything, you sleep better. It's incredible because you go to bed with this attitude of gratitude and generosity, and your mind is at peace. It is so incredible. So that's a couple of the things that I really work on with my clients. And of course, we make a plan, and I encourage everybody to do that, even if it's a little plan just for this week, but not for work necessarily. I mean, you've got to do that too. But the plan is to treat you nicely, to do something for your brain. When you wake up in the morning, you say, what am I going to do? In my case, I say to my clients, what am I going to do to make my brain better today? Am I going to make sauerkraut because that's good for my microbiome? Or am I going to make a nice fresh smoothie? Or am I going to go for a walk with bare feet in the grass because I get exposed to the natural bacteria in the soil? What am I going to do today for me to make my brain better? So that's everybody I talk to. I say, what are you going to do today for your brain? And everything you pick up to eat, or you are going to decide to do, you look at it and you say, and I bet to Holly, you tell people for your gut, is this good for my brain? So before I put something in my mouth, I consciously think, and I got this from Dr. Amen, I'm one of his licensed brain trainers, and he says, look at it and say, is this good for my brain? And if it's not, put it down. Put it down, because and I teach people, and you intuitively know, we all know, right? We know what's good for our brains. So that's kind of what I wanted to share, is that it's mindset. And this room is so amazing, having these women with the same message. We are in control. We've got this. We got this. So if you would like to engage in my world and you'd like to learn where you're starting with dementia risk, just go to my website. Jill has it there. Go to my website. It pops up right as soon as you come along. And then Yeah, I joined my Facebook group. I also have a Facebook group, Boost Your Brain and Prevent Dementia. So that's what I'd like people to do, and come away happy. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Marvelous. I did like the bit about when you were, well, I loved it all, let's face it. The bit about when people say, when you're going to retire or when you're going to slow down. And I think, I'm not even started yet. And my children say, oh, what is she up to now? What is she doing now? What's going to come next? I loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
Let me take you off of speaker view and put us back into gallery where we can all see each other again. Audria, you are up next. Are you prepared?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
We'll find out.
I'm sure you are. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Now, Audria and I know each other quite well now, don't we? We do now. We hadn't met each other for up to about 3 months ago. But I got very involved in learning about her product. I love her product. I love what she does and the benefits that come out of it. So let me tell you a little bit. Audria passionately educates on health and well-being, empowering others to improve her quality of life, their quality of life. She loves speaking and connecting with people to make a real difference. Now, Audria is also a producer and manufacturer, and she's going to tell us all about it. So let me pop you on gallery, speaker view, and there you are. Welcome, Audria.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Yes, so definitely we manufacture our products, and that came from a real need in the family from people suffering from health issues. I have a son with high functioning autism, but you wouldn't probably said he was high functioning when he was younger, but we got him to where he's high functioning through gut health, detoxing, and cannabinoids. And I might be kind of the odd one in the group. I do think mindset is important, but there is a section of people, and I do not want you to feel guilty. You feel like you cannot control your thoughts, no matter what you do, no matter how bad you want to have a good mindset. That will be your mindset, is to want to have a good one. That's where you start. But there is actual physical things in your body that are missing where you cannot take control of your thoughts. And that, just to recognize that and relieve yourself of the guilt so that you know where to start. Say, okay, maybe I can't have the good mindset right now, but I can have a mindset to fix my gut, to address my endocannabinoid system, to find out what my body is missing. And when you can admit that your body is missing something so that your brain can't function, that's where you have to start. Yes, mindset is important, but if you aren't there yet, the most important thing is to heal your body so you can get to your mindset. And it can happen, especially when you feel completely out of control. It's just, you are out of control because your gut is controlling you, your endocannabinoid system is not functioning well. These things are not working. So your mind is not in control yet. Your body is. So then you've got to just say, help. These people need extra help to get to where they can think for themselves. And it's okay, because our world has been full of toxins. Our world's food has been destroyed. So where you're at is a lack of knowledge of what to do for your body. And now you're going to get the knowledge. You have all of us here that can help you get that information. We can help you get to the place where you can finally get to your mind to settle down and think on one thought instead of like the cascade of thoughts that you can't control. So I just want to relieve you if you're feeling guilty right now because you can't get that mindset under control, to know that you're not here because of yourself, because you couldn't think yourself out of a box. You are here because the world is what it is, has acted upon your body, and now your body needs help. And that's why we are all here, is because we're going to help you find a way to get that under wellness so that your brain can start to think properly again. So if you're not at the mindset place, start with the physical place. You can do it because we're here to help you. And if you can't, we recognize that as a group because we've all had someone in our life that's been there or we've been there ourselves. So just a word of encouragement there first, because I know I've seen it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Guess what? You can't. Okay. We're going to help you and you're going to get there. We're going to look at that gut health. Now I'm going to talk to you about the endocannabinoid system. It is the system in our body, in the words of technology nowadays, it is the software that runs our body's systems. It is found largely in our brain, down our spine, and into our gut organs. It is the brain-gut connection. The endocannabinoid system are little receptors that cover the cells in your system, and it tells the cells over 400 things they need to be doing. And the only way it runs is on cannabinoids. Our body makes a certain amount, and that's it. But if we are stressed out, as Myrtha said, if our gut is out of balance, if we've experienced injury from our genetics, as Kate said, and Holly with their gut, we have damaged our cannabinoid system, and we have to supply the body cannabinoids from the exterior because our body will not make more. We can't fix the body to make more. We can't do anything like that except to supply it with the cannabinoids it needs. The cannabinoids you're familiar with, if you've heard about it, is CBD. That is 1 out of 100 cannabinoids that is available to us. We're learning more and more which cannabinoid does what, and that's what I love to study. So I help people, consult with people to find out which cannabinoids your body might be missing according to your system and your symptoms. And so that's an easy phone call, email. I'd be glad to talk with you about that. Certain cannabinoids help with our brains to connect the neurotransmitters so the thoughts do stop crashing down on each other and don't make sense because they're not even completing themselves in our mind. So CBD-A may be something you need. CBD, maybe a combo, maybe even a little bit of THC to improve your serotonin and your dopamine. So these are all things that we can evaluate and see which might be the best for you. I have seen over and over again that when we have anxiety and stress, a little bit of CBD-A can just totally make it where your thoughts stop racing. You can get the sleep you need. Your gut and your brain can start communicating to each other better so that the biome can increase the good bacteria over the bad bacteria. Start telling the lymphatic system to drain out all of that good detox that we need because it's not got the information to even move the stuff out of your body. Those cannabinoid receptors are in the lymphatic system. So if you've heard this, I'm hoping that that information will prove to you that it's not always just your brain being able to come up with the right mindset. Your body is truly affecting your ability to think, to take control of those thoughts so that you can get to that place that you want to be. It's amazing to me that this system has, just been newly discovered in America. They've known it in other countries for a long time. And a lot of doctors start with the cannabinoid system on any ailment before they do anything else, because it truly is running our body's processes. If we have damaged that, we can repair it by how we eat, exercise, and supplementing with cannabinoids. And I'm so glad that you've come to join us. We really want to see you get well. We want to help you, all of us, come up with plans for detoxing, improving the gut or the brain, and get you to where you can get to the mindset. And then Myrtha can help you as well. We're going to get that mindset fixed as soon as we get that body ready where you can actually start controlling your thoughts. So if you would love to talk to me, go to BethesdaHemp.com. You can call us and talk to us, and we will do a consult, free 15-minute consult.
Lovely.
I'm
Thank you.
also doing a sleep tips that work. This Wednesday.
Get that in there.
That's new for me, so I have to remember.
Oh, I did not know. I literally did not know anything about what Audria did at all 13, 14 weeks ago. She had to explain it to me in detail time and time again. And this improving our software that runs through our bodies, I can get that. That's the bit I can get. That it just doesn't work all together. And this bit is the bit as well. It all just joins together. And we do rely, or rather we do take for granted, that every single bit of us will work and connect and communicate with each other. And when it doesn't, it all falls apart, which is where all your words come in wonderfully well. Thank you very much, Audria. Thank you. Let's go back onto gallery view. Thank you. That was brilliant. We are on to my friend Anna. Are you ready, Anna?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I've got, now I'm not even going to start on how wonderful Anna's services are, because I've been been on the receiving end. But Anna is the owner of A Path of Beauty and Colour Healing Silks. She's dedicated to helping spiritual women, empaths, energy healers and entrepreneurs heal what's holding them back and increase their flow of abundance. So I'm going to pop it again on speaker view, Anna, and hand it over to you. Welcome.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Let me just get that. Yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you, Jill, for inviting me. We're good friends, and you've helped me with your services too, so you're wonderful. And I just appreciate all the wisdom in this room today, because I can relate to so much of what you all have been saying. I had a serious injury 7.5 years ago, so I know about CBD helping get off pain meds. I know about Dr. Amen, who helped so much, because with this I was a victim of violent crime. I usually don't start my talk this way, but learned about with severe PTSD, and learned about brain health, of course, gut health. I've been in the holistic field for over 25 years, and as a fiber artist for well over that. I started as I used to paint on fine silk threads and weave them into scarves and shawls and wall pieces. And then when my children were, and I, was exhibiting around the country, and then I was blessed to, start my family, and that whole, textile process was very labor intensive. So I just started painting on silks instead. And I also, when my children were young, we, were part of CSAs, just raising them very holistically. And I became a transformational breath facilitator and trainer. And so like Myrtha, you're mentioning that breath, that is so key. And I'm sure you all use that in whatever you do, because it really is key to just connect us and calm our nervous system and our whole being. So that's just, so important. And I love, Kate, that you're mentioning, is it Holly? The conscious movement. I was taking notes. I'm just taking it all in. I did a lot of conscious movement, even with our breath work. There was a movement component, and I used to dance the language of light, and it was just all this joy and movement. And that's where my business is called A Path of Beauty. But I have the hand painted and hand dyed honest champagne silks as well. But over that time of the last 25 years, I was teaching the breath work, but mostly doing my hand painted silks. And I saw over that time what the color and the silks were doing in people's energy field. Because for one, silks have the highest vibration of fiber. And then the pure colors, like think of, we all love the rainbow, and think of light. That's the core of everything. So white light is all the colors and all the frequencies. And we're energy beings. We're receptive, just like, Holly said, the endocannabinoid system, that's one, but it's all different frequencies, everything is. And so with the light, goes through a prism, separates into those specific frequencies of colors. And, each of those frequencies have different qualities in how they affect us. So with my silks, I'm actually feel very blessed to be able to have these color healing silks, because also what I, as friends say, I pray in, you know, with my intentions, I'm actually bringing a lot of other good frequencies into the silk. So they are really supercharged with these frequencies. And I just started seeing, like, over 25 years, it's still an ongoing journey of learning and experiencing what these colors and frequencies are doing in our energy field. And I focus on emotional well-being. And as you can imagine, we all relate to colors emotionally. You know, we go into a drab room and it's all gray and dark, and, you know, we don't feel good. And then we're out in the sunshine. You know I teach a lot about the earthing and being in nature and all those, you know, verdant greens and the, you know, flowers. I'm always traveling and photographing flowers, and that's part of a path of beauty too. Is just you know, being in nature and just taking in the energy, and really, and that's so calming to our nervous system and our whole being. And, you know, I think you know, you all have such beautiful gifts, and we can help people in so many ways. And I think we all agree it's to get us feeling better. You know, we want to feel better. And I agree with what you're saying about, you know, if our body's not feeling well, you know, trust me, I understand that. And I'm continually healing over many years of this injury. And yet through it all, I can coexist even with the pain or things, because as you work with your emotions, well, let me go back a minute. I've also trained in emotion code, and it's a great way to show that we, through, you know, traumatic experiences or just strong emotional experiences, or say we're young and it's overwhelming, and we don't understand what's going on, we can trap these emotional energies and these emotions into our energy fields. So, you know, I can go in and we can decide, you know, say, you know, it's this specific emotion, say it's grief, and it was age 13 when your grandmother died, and we can, you know, shift that energy. And with the color healing, I can also bring in a soft color healing pink to raise the vibration into that unconditional love, because all the colors have these divine qualities associated. So when you're consciously using color, you can actually choose the colors that will really support your energy. And the importance of that is, you know, when you have these trapped emotions, they're blocking the whole flow of energy in your being. And it also attracts similar energies. So that's why, you know, when they say, well, I'm attracting the same kind of person, or I'm attracting the same kind of experience, or why am I, you know, going through this again and again? I thought I healed it. You know, it's because there's something in your energy that's resonating. And it's actually a gift. I believe all of this, even what we've been all going through for many years, I really appreciate all of your journeys, because I understand how hard it can get and how challenging, but you're also beautiful and you've overcome, you know, so much. And I think, you know, that's what we're all helping people do, is to heal at the core. And when we're healing, you know, our emotions, you know, we're always feeling something. And that's why I love to help people heal in the moment. So you're starting to feel something, and it's that awareness, like, oh, I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling really fatigued, or I'm feeling really heavy. Then in that moment, you can use like any of your tools, or with, you know, the color frequencies, you can put on a silk, or even just do a meditation and then bring in that color and the qualities. Those are especially key. And to just shift your vibration. And, you know, even though we can, you know, get very specific in there, I believe through this color, you know, a path of beauty lifestyle, that we can live from this higher vibrational state. We don't have to keep focusing on the problem. You know, that's like the jumping off point. You know, there's something wrong. What can we do to fix it? But in the process, we can do it through beauty, through, you know, color, of course, with what we're wearing, our surroundings. I have something called, you know, inner outer sanctuary. So, you know, you often start with, of course, intentions for everything, but also creating a beautiful space, you know, just like a little, you know, I call it a vibrant abundance space. And it's just a place where you can go. It's your own little private sanctuary if you don't have one. And it's a place just to go to recharge. And when you're doing these, meditations, the energy accumulates in that area. And then you can really, each time you go back, it's easier to meditate. And of course, I love, meditating out in nature as well and things. But when you have your own private sanctuary, because like many of you are saying, it's making a choice of how we're feeling in our energy. And it's mastering that, but it's a choice, and it's intentions, and it's having the tools that we're, all providing here. So I do have an 8-week color healing class, and we've just started it. So I invite you all. I'll drop the link if anyone's interested. I do have a free 30-minute color healing consultation. I invite you all to, if any of you are interested or have any questions, to experience some of the color healing. And in this 8-week class, you actually get a set of 7 silks. So we're going through 1 color a week, and there's, short meditations and affirmations and all these supportive things. And in the 1 hour, class per week, actually, I've increased the time of the sharing, because everyone has their stories every week that they're sharing. And, just like we're here in community now, it's when we really are coming together that it's so helpful. And that's what we're all needing to do right now. So I thank you for being part of this beautiful circle of women today.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you. Oh, I did think about you yesterday. I was laying in grounds of this, and it's a really big estate house that we'd gone to as a tourist, as it were. And everybody was keeping their space, and we were sat having a picnic on the ground. And we got left alone. The children went off and the grandchildren went off, and I lay down and I looked up at this canopy of a tree with the blue sky coming through, and I was looking at saying, what a beautiful picture. And then again, it all came back about the colours and the richness and the calmness that it brings to you. And I think we've all done the same thing here. You've all spoken about the result of being out in nature, your mindset, being with people that support you, that are happy, the difference it makes not only to our minds but our bodies as well. Thank you so much. That was so inspiring. Let's put us back on gallery. I feel breathless. They say that I used to work with a mentor, and he used to always say to me, learning is earning. But it's much more than that, isn't it? It's much more than cash. It's more in the head and the mindset and the way that you've all made us feel today. Thank you so much for coming along. I've put together a little bit about me, and I've also put a page on my website. So just in case people don't see the links in here, but they see the YouTube thing later, the YouTube video later, there is an area that when they're watching, they can still go through and get in connect with you. I'd like to thank you all very much. I'm going to tell you now that Caril didn't manage to make it back to her studio to be able to connect with us in time, but I've promised her that next time we do one, she'll be the first to come along. So we're not going to have her join us today, but but we'll put that right as we go along. So let me just do my last bit. It is a little bit about me, so please bear with me whilst I do something. But thank you so much. So here we are. This is the page that we've put together. We've got Meet Our Speakers, but we've also got on our website, underneath this URL, take the next step and connect with our presenters. I urge you to connect with them direct. I urge you to listen to the offers and the call to actions that they've given you at the end of their wonderful talks today. However, just in case you lose all of that, there is a page that we will point you to on here it is about taking that next step and connecting with our presenters. You can connect with one or 5 of the presenters or myself. All you have to do is tick a box, pop your name and your email in. It will come through to me right enough. However, I will then point you in the direction of the presenters, or rather I will give the presenters your email address for them to contact you. And I'll be putting up a little bit more about the presenters on that page as we move forward. That was one thing we did. The next thing was a little bit about me. So I'm Gill Fountain and I work with 38 Partnership. I have actually been in business for 30 years and it all started as the toy lady. And we've gone on from there and become marketing, brand and visibility coach. Now I say coach, I've decided it's got to be coach because I am coaching so many people, I am talking to so many people, but it is all about visibility, communication and learning. And like I say, the more we learn, the more we communicate with each other, the more we're going to talk about our business and people get to know that know, like and trust. I am the host of One Woman's Voice and I also am the host of Building Tomorrow Today with 38 Partnership. Believe it or not, don't tell many people this, but I am an author of a international bestseller, and I do try to speak on as many occasions as I possibly can. And this particular venture today, this particular event is part of our Speakers Rich, is part of our Marketing Diamonds visibility program. And if anybody would like to know more about that, it is on there, on that URL there. And that, my friends, is the end of my upsell and talking about me. I'm much easier talking about everyone else than I am about myself. If you would put any links in the chat for me to take on, I would love it. If you would go on to One Woman's Voice, I've been monitoring One Woman's Voice as we've gone through, adding your names and bits and pieces about you. If you could add them in on the post on One Woman's Voice as well, we will be taking the video and uploading it onto YouTube. You will be named, you will have your links, your websites and everything else I can think about you to push people towards you. And please stay on the line whilst I finish the recording here. Thank you everyone inside the group for watching today. Again, if you haven't come in live, please do hit hashtag replay and we will pick up your comments as we go. Thank you very much. And I will stop the recording. And I don't think I stopped it, to be fair. I didn't.